I have been on Android most of my life and only moved to the iPhone since the iPhone 10, and there are things that I cannot stand with the iPhone, and these things have not changed since moving over, so I'm pretty close to switching back to Android as my daily. But let me discuss it with y'all first. How's it going, everyone? My name is J.I. I make videos on the technology in our lives and how we can use it to make our lives easier. Now, these are 3 gripes I have with my iPhone that have always irked me, and they aren't just small things. They change my productivity flow, and it doesn't fall in line with Apple's mantra of "it just works." Steve Jobs, my man, you would be sorely disappointed in this. Oh, and by the way, this is a $150 Android phone that I'll be comparing to my $1,300 iPhone 14 Pro Max in this video. If you're looking for an Android phone, I would highly recommend the A25 by New Mobile. It's been so reliable and amazingly affordable. I got the links down below in my description so you can get the best price on Amazon. Speaking of links, the first issue we're going to be talking about is link handling. An Android phone, for whatever reason, is capable of distinguishing links and automatically opening the corresponding app if available. For example, if I have Amazon installed, any Amazon link will be redirected to the app. If I have YouTube installed, well, any YouTube link will open in the app as well. It's simple and seamless, and a huge blunder when dealing with this on iOS. On my iPhone, you can see I have both Amazon and YouTube installed, but look what happens when I open any link for the corresponding app. It opens in Chrome. Luckily, YouTube sometimes has an option to open in the app, but that's an added unnecessary step and also very hit or miss. One might argue that changing your default browser to Safari might help. Well, that's not a solution, that's just embarrassing. You shouldn't have to be forced to use a specific browser just so link handling works. So no, if you're thinking of that suggestion, then you probably should sit back down. It's not user-friendly and goes against everything that Apple supposedly stands for when it comes to the customer experience. This has been an issue throughout the existence of iOS and has not been fixed. So my question to Apple is, what are you doing about it? Why has no one addressed this issue yet? And let's be clear here, this is an issue. It's not a feature or any sort of privacy or safety measure, it's just poor software design. Notifications on iOS have always been a glaring weakness that has not been properly addressed. It was one of the hardest things to get used to when moving from my Android, as I was accustomed to having neatly organized notifications with a lot more control over how each notification prompts me. Looking at Android, you can see that each app is neatly organized and can expand to show every notification from that specific app regardless of the time and day it occurred. Yes, iOS has notification grouping, but if a notification from the same app is slightly different, it completely ignores the ability to stack and creates a separate notification which can, well, build up in your notification center over time and look very messy. Now, mind you, this has slightly improved over iterations of iOS, but we still don't have a polished notification center after all of these years. Now, hopefully, custom color-coded notifications and vibration patterns get added to a revamp. That's kind of on my wish list for iOS 18. Now, I know we're comparing apples to Android, pardon the pun, and I'm using these 2 specific phones to make my point. So, fair is fair. Obviously, the A25 doesn't have things like custom colored notifications or vibration patterns out of the box, but the point is, there are apps like Buzzkill that can truly run in the background and add features that I want without having to jailbreak it. An example of where I would want something like this would be when my doorbell rings. At the moment, my iPhone will send a notification, but it's just like any other notification and can be mistaken as such if I'm not paying attention. Now, on my Android, for example, if I wanted to make that notification different with a consistent vibration or a custom vibration pattern, I can do that using Buzzkill. I know that even Samsung has built-in features like this without the need for any sort of third-party software. So my point is, notifications need a massive overhaul in iOS. Siri is terrible. There's really no way to sugarcoat that. It's vastly inferior to Google Assistant, and I wanted to save this one for last because there have been recent rumors that Apple is going all in with generative AI, so I might actually see a drastic improvement soon. But it's been a long time coming, you know what I mean? Home automation and asking Siri to perform basic tasks within HomeKit is great, but only when HomeKit is working. And that's a whole nother can of worms. We won't delve into that today, but if you simply just need to turn your lights on and off, well, Siri holds the crown. To be clear, that is not something to be proud of though. If I need to ask it anything beyond that, well, it's a lost cause. Go ahead, try asking Siri what is the tire torque requirement for a Ford Fusion 2013. What's the tire torque requirements for a Ford Fusion 2013?
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
Now, let's ask that same question to Google. Hey, what is the tire torque requirement for a Ford Fusion 2013?
On the website fordfusion.net, they say, so 85 to 100 pound-feet of torque, or anywhere in between is safe for the wheels.
Google is my go-to at the moment when I need to ask any complex questions, and it usually is at a 90% success rate when it comes to fulfilling any of these requests. So these are just 3 areas where iOS needs dramatic improvement. I'm not trying to tell you that Android doesn't have flaws. Each operating system has its pros and cons. But when the cons have just not been addressed for an extended period of time, you have to wonder if maybe changing the scenery is the only option to go. Well, iOS 18 is around the corner, and we have a little bit of hope that changes might come for some of the things I discussed. I'm curious, what have been your nagging gripes with iOS or Android that have yet to be addressed over the years? And has it caused you to maybe switch over to a different ecosystem? My name is J.I. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for kicking it with me.